What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. So this isn't a part two, but I wanted to make this video based on a few conversations that I had with some people talking about boxing. And of course, these are not things that should be so foreign to people. Biased people are going to be biased regardless, but I want to point out something that I pointed out and then, just kind of piggyback off that a little bit. So I talked about in the previous video how Canelo Alvarez has said, he thinks Terrence Crawford is a better fighter than Floyd Mayweather. Okay, and I told you guys, yeah, he's going to say that because should he beat Crawford, that's what he wants. To try to push over on people. Well, I beat Crawford, and I think Crawford is better than Floyd, which doesn't matter. Floyd beat your ass. And all of the excuses about his age, whatever. I'm not trying to hear that bullshit. But not only that, let me show you how Canelo's full of shit. Ask Canelo Alvarez, is Floyd one of the greatest of all times? He will tell you yes, definitely. And he'll tell you Floyd Mayweather has beaten some great fighters, including himself, Pacquiao, Shane Mosley, all of these people. He can't say anything about Floyd's opponents when he's fought those same guys, not Pacquiao, but, Shane Mosley, and there's other guys that Canelo has fought in his career that people thought Lara beat him. People thought that, Triple G beat him. So anything that he could if he tried to throw any shade at Floyd, he's in the same situation where people will throw shade at him in similar situations. Now, it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, the judges did what they make the decisions that they made. So you can cry about it or try to use it against a person, but it doesn't matter. What happened. Okay, but at the end of the day, he'll tell you Floyd has beaten some of the greatest champions in boxing, right? He's always said that. Now, he kept constantly giving Floyd praise. Now, he claims he'll beat Floyd now. This is how desperate this man is. He's been saying this shit since Floyd retired. Since Floyd's been about 44, 45 years old. He's really been like that. He just won't stop. Every time you turn around, he's in an interview they ask him what's one fighter he wanted to fight before he retired. He said Floyd. He knows Floyd is not coming out of retirement. People came up with this bullshit about Floyd coming back to boxing. He's in negotiations with Cambosos, and I told you guys I heard that rumor, and I'm not digging into it until I hear something else. I don't even see why that would be. First of all, I don't even see how that could be true because, for one, I'm gonna tell you how I never believed it. Floyd walks around now, and you see him doing his exhibitions. He's doing it at like 150, like 154. Okay, for Floyd, Cambosos fights at 135 pounds. So even if Cambosos went up to 147, that's a lot of fucking weight for him to put on and then jump in and try to fight. And I think Floyd would beat Cambosos' ass now. Like, I think he'd fuck Cambosos up, like, for real. But, I didn't hear that from anybody else. And this all came right after this whole thing about Floyd is broke, Floyd lost $400 million, and all of this stuff that, these rumors, these lies that people tell you. Because, to be honest with you, where do these sources come from? Like, where does this news come from that only a handful of YouTubers get it? It's not on ESPN. It's not on any major platforms. Just a handful of YouTube. Even YouTubers that have a whole lot of subscribers and have a big influence, they lie. Don't think everybody tell you guys the truth. The biggest channels, and I gotta say it like it is, the biggest channels are the biggest liars because they will bring you the most bullshit. And people want to believe things that they hear. Okay, that all being said, Canelo Alvarez will always give Floyd his credit that Floyd is this and Floyd is that. Why won't he come out and say, I don't think Floyd Mayweather has fallen off? He said, Floyd, he thinks it's still the same. Floyd can still do the same things because he's so sharp and has a high boxing IQ, right? Okay, so wait, he thinks that Crawford is better because he can switch up and all this shit. Okay, now check this out. This man, once again, rips Canelo Alvarez, I'm talking about. He rips the resume of Terrence Crawford. and said, he said this a long time ago. He said it more recently again. Name one elite fighter he's beat. He don't beat no champions, no good champions. Now, I will say this, he's beaten Errol Spence, he's beaten Sean Porter. True, he beat a washed-up Kell Brook. He beat a washed-up Amir Khan. And no, I agree with this. He doesn't have any wins over these great names. He doesn't. With the exception of, Porter was a good fighter, man. I don't know about great. He's a good fighter, Errol Spence was a good fighter. I don't know about great, but good. But bottom line, he beat those two. Those are the two best wins on his resume. I said this a long time ago. If you look at Crawford's resume of who he won, he even two of his wins was vacated titles, in his undisputed reigns at the smaller weight classes, both weight classes. But bottom line is this: it doesn't matter. What matters is what happens come fight night. Because Jaime Munguia beat no fucking elite fighters. The other dude, the other fucking guy, Eddie Hearn's guy, he beat no fucking elite fighters, but he fought him. William Skull beat no elite fighters, but he fought him. Okay, so with that all being said, right? If this motherfucker really thought that this dude was better, that he thought Crawford was better than Floyd Mayweather, do you think he would sit there and rip his resume like that? But he's got a point, which is exactly why I said, and I strongly believe, he only chose Crawford, one, because the money's right. No, before the money's right. One, he feels confident. You know what, man? Without Benavidez, who else is there out there that I can fight? He can fight Jamal Charlo. Yeah, he can fight Jamal Charlo for sure. Okay? So Jamal Charlo at that point, though, was, kind of MIA. And then he, came back, and by the time he announced his next fight, it was really like a month out or something like that. 3 weeks out to a month out. Okay. But who out there can he make a mega fight with? Jamal Charlo, outside of Benavidez and the Crawford fight, would be like the next biggest fight. Because he doesn't want to rematch Bivol. It's obvious. See, Canelo says one thing and does something else. What's the guy name that Bivol fought at 175? And Canelo said if Bivol loses, then no rematch. But if he wins, he'll give him a rematch. And I said, what do you mean? Listen how arrogant this guy is. He said, I'll give him a rematch. Bro, Bivol beat your ass. He'd be giving you a rematch. You lost. This is how arrogant this guy is. That even though, he lost the fight, well, he's still the A side, right? How? How do you go into this fight? How do you negotiate a fight with a guy that beat you and you're still the A side? But that's the politics in boxing. That's the bullshit. So he says he'll give him a rematch, but he never did. And this guy, Mauricio Sulaiman, used that bullshit war as an excuse. Like Canelo said, I do what I want, and I'm Mexican. Let me explain something to you. If Canelo wanted that fucking Benavidez fight, that fight happens. Even if it's not for the WBC. Just for redemption, the fact that this man smacked me around all night and whooped my ass and basically made me look stupid. Now I want to get my lick back. No, that's not what he did. He avoided that Bivol rematch, and everybody knows it. Everybody knows that shit. Now, that all being said, why does he choose Crawford? Let me give you two scenarios. Why did he choose Crawford? One, Crawford's a much smaller guy. And that's where his confidence comes up. This little motherfucker came really from lightweight, and now he's going to jump up, skip past 160, come straight to 168, fight me? Nah, I'm going to beat this guy. Now, he says the same thing about Benavidez that he says about Crawford. He's done nothing. Name one guy he beat. He don't beat no champion. He don't beat, right? He says the same shit. Okay, for that matter, man, if we go and look at Canelo's resume, you can look at him and say, well, who the fuck did you beat? Triple G. What's the biggest win on his resume? Triple G? It's not like he's beating some good dudes, but it's not like you look at Canelo's resume and it's like this dude beat nothing but the top most elite fighters in every fucking division. No, that's not what he fucking did. So it's not like every fucking body he beat. Look, if right now he could say, I beat Jamal Charlo. He beat Jamel, not the big brother, but the younger one that came up from a smaller weight class and did the same thing that Crawford's doing. Just jumped straight to 168. But what he did, let's say if he beat him, okay, he got the win against Triple G. Forget all of what people who said and what they felt. He got the win against him, right? But let's say that he beat Benavidez. You know, he beat Bivol. You know, let's say instead of him going up to fight, what's the dude, Sergey Kovalev? What's the other fucking dude at 175? That Beterbiev. What if he, like? Let's say he beat Beterbiev. Not some old over the hill, washed up. I only had 2 weeks to prepare. You know, Sergey Kovalev. Let's say he had those type of names on his resume. Okay, this is what I'm saying. Now, beating Miguel Cotto, he has some solid names, yes. But what I'm saying, the majority of those people that he beat already had losses. And at the time that he beat them, on top of that, they wasn't considered like the best. Even if they were holding the title. You got to give him credit for the wins, yes. But Canelo has fought a lot of dudes the same way that came up in weight to fight him. So what I'm saying is, even with his wins and losses, it's not like his fucking record is any more fucking stellar than anybody else's. See, when you become the favorite, people will give you the sympathy of going through the same situation that other fighters go through. But let's look at Canelo. He says what he says. If he thought Terrence Crawford was better than Floyd, just to turn around and say, name one elite fighter he's beaten. Okay, wait a minute. Crawford is more accomplished than Benavidez in the sport. I don't think Crawford beats Benavidez. I think Crawford is too small, and Benavidez won't play around, won't fuck around and go in there and let him pit-pat it. I think Benavidez will ultimately knock Crawford the fuck out. Canelo Alvarez feels more comfortable fighting a much smaller guy that's coming up in weight than a guy that's already up there with the weight. And it's really simple. How the fuck do you end up saying this guy's better than fucking Floyd Mayweather? Look, let's look at the hypocrisy. What did he say? Crawford's good. Don't get me wrong, but he's no Canelo. I have the experience. Okay, so wait a minute. So look at all the styles that Floyd has beat, including your shit, Canelo. So you telling me Crawford is a better fighter, yet he don't have the same type of experience because he hasn't fought the more quality opponents like Floyd. So it's easy to talk that shit about Crawford's better than Floyd. I don't give a fuck about people's opinion. In my opinion, that motherfucker ain't as good as no motherfucking Floyd. I never seen him as good as Floyd. He's better than the rest of them other motherfuckers that's in the division with him, but Floyd, not in my opinion. But bottom line is, for Canelo to say that shit now, it's funny how he knows a rematch with him and Floyd is not going to fucking happen. But he's so desperate that I guess he feel like, well, shit, Floyd's a lot older now, so let me talk my shit and talk about how Floyd is still Floyd and you know, he's still the same. Okay, right. It's funny how Floyd is still the same Floyd, yet you're much better than you were. Yeah, you see how that works? But then he turns around and now, because he know that fight will never happen, and forever that loss to Floyd, he can't take it off his record. Bottom line. And you're telling me now that you're about to turn 35 fucking years old, you think that you're better now than you were then, whatever. Okay, same old Canelo to me, and I've said that shit always. Same fucking Canelo. Okay. But at 168 pounds, where you feel you have the advantage over Crawford, you don't have it over Benavidez. So how the fuck are you going to sit here and say Floyd Mayweather isn't as good as Crawford, yet you sit here and say Crawford fought nobody, which would make him a big fish in a small pond, which also means he feels like, you know, Errol Spence was overrated. See, if we look at accomplishments, this is why I said you got to look at not just what you did, but who you did it against. This is why when I look at guys like Errol Spence, I feel like they're good, they're solid, you know, Hall of Fame material, because you know, you can't give certain people the nod and then say no to other people just because you don't like them. But we talk about greatness, man, there's levels to everything. There's levels to every fucking thing. So for you to say Crawford is better than Floyd, but then turn around and then praise Floyd for who he's fought, but then you turn around to try to criticize. He tried to criticize Floyd as well, because he wanted things to go his way. He wanted to persuade the people to think that he was taken advantage of some kind of way, or like he's just a baby. All this bullshit. But it's funny because when you sit here and say, name one elite fighter that Crawford's beaten, name one great champion that he's beaten. Okay, you said the same shit about Benavidez. But you tell me this right here. You chose Crawford because of what? Because he's better than Benavidez? Do you honestly think Crawford would beat Benavidez? So that other scenario I was talking about? For anybody that says the Crawford fight versus Canelo is a bigger fight, okay, whole bullshit. Let me tell you something, man. Bullshit. It was a hot topic after he beat Errol Spence. Then it was too much back and forth, too much lack of interest, too much bullshit. You tell me, the same way Turkey Al-Sheikh is invested in this fight, you fucking tell me right now, if them motherfuckers had Canelo Alvarez versus motherfucking David Benavidez, Cinco fucking de Mayo, you telling me with Turkey Al-Sheikh involved and all, you fucking tell me that motherfucking fight wouldn't be bigger than a Crawford fight? You are fucking delusional, man. You are fucking delusional. Because not only would it be a thing of Canelo fans and Benavidez fans, you talk about the entire Mexico and the boxing world in general. And if that, and before you speak, think about this. Let's say he beats Crawford, right? Which he really should, honestly, but let's say he beats Crawford. I hope Crawford beat the brakes off of him. Fuck both of them. But let's say he beats Crawford. Then what? Then what? All of a sudden now, there's more intrigue in the fight between him and Benavidez because he beat a fucking blown up lightweight? No. When you say Crawford's the best fighter pound for pound, let me tell y'all something. We only know who's going to win when it comes. We can predict and be right. But I'm saying when it comes, because you can call somebody the greatest of all time. You can call somebody pound for pound best. They can fight against a certain opponent, and all of a sudden, guess what? Get that ass whooped when you thought they was going to dominate. Now you tell me, this dude really think Crawford is better than Floyd Mayweather? And he's talking about he beat nobody. He's hadn't beat no. So you, in other words, the war, the fights and the wars that Floyd has had a couple of wars, but the fights that Floyd has had, the experience that he's had, the fighting the better opposition than Terrence Crawford. Somehow Crawford is better. Big deal, he can switch up. Okay, somebody could have said that same thing about Marvin Hagler over Ray Leonard. Well, he can switch up, so he's better than Ray. Okay, can he beat Ray, though, by switching up? Is that going to work against Ray? Fuck who else he did it against. Is it going to work against Ray? This is what you got to understand. And when I listen to this dude talk, I'm just like, man, Canelo's so full of shit, man. He's going to talk all this shit so nobody can criticize him. Like he said, initially he didn't want the fight because, not even after I win, but if I win, then I get no credit. But you take credit away from your own self by sitting here saying that Crawford's beat nobody. The same way Crawford sounds stupid talking about, Spence isn't an all-time great. Spence is this, Spence is that. So if we leave it up to Crawford, he goes in there and get knocked out by Canelo, right? Then what? You out of your own mouth just sat here and said Spence isn't an all-time great. He's not a Hall of Famer. You can retire right now and you're going to Hall of Fame just off of accomplishments alone. Not so much who you beat, but just the accomplishments. So for that to be the case, not to mention Crawford said when Canelo was coming up, he said in the generation that you heard him, that the generation that surpassed us, the Floyds, the Pacquiaos and all them, he said, I didn't get those opportunities. Which means, let's check this out. Just like Keith Thurman saying there's no way I'm going to let a 40-year-old rabbit beat me, to go in there and get smoked out his boots by Pacquiao. And then all these Keith Thurman fans made excuses about, oh, he's married, he's living his best life, he's with his wife, he's not far. I know. It's funny how you motherfuckers hated Floyd so much and Pacquiao could do no wrong back when he was fighting Floyd. But now that he's fighting Keith Thurman, all of a sudden he whoops his ass. And, you know, this was the Keith Thurman fans that wanted to be able to say that Keith was better than Floyd, right? Well, even for the fact, if he would have beat a 40-year-old Pacquiao, that still doesn't make it better than Floyd. But you see what happened to him, right? So I told you, I don't see Errol Spence, I don't see Keith Thurman, I don't see Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, none of them for that. I don't see any of them being what Floyd and Pacquiao and a prime Juan Manuel Marquez was. Like, I don't see them being better. There's no way in fucking hell that Pacquiao should have beat Keith Thurman if Keith Thurman was as good as people thought he was, and he was as good as he said he was, and he was so confident. So the thing with Crawford is he chose to come up to 168. He can't pull that bullshit about I was just, you know, daring to be great, man. No. I don't want to hear that shit from nobody. And one thing that I always look at in the heavyweight division, fuck that Bridgerweight bullshit. You've always had guys like Holyfield that was much smaller than a Riddick Bowe, Lennox Lewis, you know, a George Foreman. But he went in there with these big motherfuckers and fought them like he was just as big as they were. And so the heavyweights don't get that benefit, that you know, that luxury of saying, hey man, you know, you got to come in a certain weight. Nah, because you can be 300 fucking pounds and the motherfucker you fighting can be 200 pounds even. That's a 100 fucking pound weight difference, okay? But bottom line, if you lose only because that dude was just too big and you just couldn't, you didn't have it in you because of the size, hey, nobody's going to give a fuck. So you jumping up and going to 168, nobody's going to want to hear that shit afterwards. And the reason, too, why Canelo fans feel so good about this fight is just for the simple fact they're more confident that this little dude is not going to be able to really hurt Canelo. See, all this talk about people seeing Crawford spar heavyweights and he hurt heavyweights, so what? So what? We seen him fight guys his size and get knocked down. We seen him fight guys his size and didn't knock them out. So, you understand what I'm saying? All of this bullshit don't mean nothing. Same thing. Every fighter, Deontay sending fucking sparring partners to the hospital. Same thing. Canelo sending the sparring partners to the hospital. Then he go gets his ass whooped by Benavidez. So who gives a fuck what he did to a sparring partner? That doesn't mean shit. So all of this talking that Canelo's doing. You know why I'm making this video, man? Because win, lose, or draw, the direction he goes after this fight, watch what happens should he lose. How the Mexican fans are going to start looking at Benavidez should he keep winning and going, you know what? Canelo was the best, but you watch. And when Canelo finds himself in a crossroads, do I retire or do I finally fight Benavidez? Because if he don't fight Jamal Charlo, and let's just say, for example, he do some pussy shit like have a rematch with Caleb Plant because he got a history with him and Caleb Plant just lost his last fight. And instead of fighting the guy that beat Plant, well, that guy was much smaller than Plant. You can see the size difference. You know what I'm saying? But let's not play vulture and pick scraps of a fucking carcass. Let's go ahead and fight some fresh meat. And if he don't fucking finally fight against Jamal Charlo, who's his age? What excuse does he have? So you won't fight Jamal Charlo. You won't fight fucking Benavidez. He was supposed to fight Jamal Charlo first. And then whatever happened, Jamal wasn't ready, so he wound up fighting, Jamel. But bottom line, Jamal is at 168, and that's what it is. He didn't want to fight Demetrius Andrade, which I believe he would have knocked Demetrius Andrade out. I just don't think Demetrius Andrade would have beat him. Now, when Demetrius was younger, when he had that snap and was sharper, I still would have went with Canelo. I still would have went with Canelo. But Canelo obviously didn't think that, it was such an easy fight. And, for a fighter to tell you, I won't fight this guy because I know this guy's not what y'all think he is bullshit. Because nobody asked for the Jaime Munguia fight. No, nobody asked for these dusty bum fights that he's been choosing and shit. And then when the guy, looks halfway decent in the ring, let's give the guy credit for trying it. That guy had no Berlanga. Who asked for a Berlanga fight? Who wants to see Berlanga fight any fucking body? So all of this talk that people are doing, right? Canelo uses his star power to manipulate. He uses his star power to pick and choose who he wants to fight. And so All this bullshit that y'all made up in your mind that he's at a point he can do whatever he wants. So here's the deal. If Canelo wins this fight, he's probably going to do this soft shit like, let's just pick a couple of more nobodies. And let's use this victory like, you know, I got at least 3 or 4 more bum-ass fights that I can fight because I just beat little Crawford. Now, should he lose to Crawford, he's going to want a rematch. If he loses the rematch, what's he going to do then? What's he going to do then? If he loses the rematch, I doubt very seriously that he wants to fight Benavidez then. If he wins the rematch, I know Turkey would want to play this, you know, hey, why not go for a 3rd fight bullshit. But the truth is, Canelo don't want to fight any real tough fights. He claimed he does. He don't want guys to run. He want them to, well, you got to learn to cut off a fucking ring. You got to learn to do what you got to do. It's not your opponent's fucking job to worry about what the fuck you want. They go in there and fight the way they fight. He's never learned how to turn, you know, cut a ring off. And for Terrence Crawford, for both of them, I don't care what either one of them say. I don't care about them talk like, you know, Crawford telling him, you see, I'm different from the other fighters. And he said, you're no different, right? You're no different. You just said, right? Okay, and rips his resume down. What is he telling you about Crawford? Man, I picked you to avoid Benavidez because I needed a big name on my resume. People talking shit. You're not fighting anybody, or you're just a businessman now. I needed a name. This is the one fight that they were clamoring for. So now I can duck Benavidez and fight Terrence Crawford. Much smaller guy. I got a better chance. I feel more comfortable. I can beat him than I can Benavidez. At some point, if this dude is not pressured into the into a fight with Benavidez, he's not going to pick Benavidez on his own. And Benavidez is at 175 now. Canelo will use 175 as an excuse to not fight Benavidez. Canelo don't want to go fight Benavidez. Canelo wants to stay and dictate and fight who he wants. Tell me who's left at 168 pounds that you really want to see him fight outside of Jamal Charlo. Who? And I'm not talking about some opponent's name that's just there in the brackets. I mean, who do you want to see him fight? What other, there are no more big fights. And like I said, Caleb just got beat and looked bad. So do you want to see him and Caleb in a rematch? Not to mention, Charlo's still undefeated. Hey, another notch under my belt. I just gave an undefeated, really good fighter his first loss. Okay. Like I said, we know if Canelo has it his way, he's going to take the easiest route that he possibly can. And I get so sick of people talking about what somebody did. Who gives a fuck what you did in the past, man? And you keep talking this shit about being the pound-for-pound best fighter there is and all that. Okay, cool. They call Terrence Crawford pound-for-pound the best fighter. You say you're pound-for-pound the best fighter. At the end of the fucking day, right, there's people, like Crawford doesn't have, like people talk about how stacked 154 is. Man, 154 is not stacked, man. Let's just be real. Fucking Fundora ain't shit. Fundora is so fundamentally flawed. Okay? What's the Tim Tszyu, one-dimensional as fuck. One-dimensional ass fucking Tim Tszyu. He comes to fight, but he's one-dimensional. He has nothing. He has nothing. Just all he knows is one way. Jamal Charlo has been MIA for the fucking longest. I mean, you got Virgil Ortiz there. And it's really not a lot of fucking names. Crawford is not staying there, right? Oh, do you think Crawford's going to go up, fight Canelo? Let's say he wins. Crawford is not talking about fighting anymore. You know, to keep him in this game, Turkey's going to have to offer him, you understand what I mean? Big money. Does you think he want to stay at 168? There's nobody else at 168 other than Jamal Charlo. That's a fight I wouldn't mind seeing. But see, here's the thing. For Terrence Crawford, who does he want to actually fight? Because there's nobody at 154 better than Jamal Charlo. So why go back down there and fight who? There's nothing there. Let's just be real. There's no, you know what 154 is right now? 154 is a division for a guy like Virgil Ortiz to show, hey, I'm the one on the come up in this division. I'm better than everybody here. Or Jerron Boots Ennis, when he gets there, you know what? Me and Virgil Ortiz are the best two in this division. We gonna prove it. Type of situation. I don't know what's up with Jermell Charlo, but what's there for Crawford? So after the fight with Canelo, it's either a rematch with Canelo, you know, depending on the circumstances, the outcome of the fight, or retirement. You still looking for a fucking Crawford versus, you know, Errol Spence rematch? When is the last time Errol Spence fought? When he got his ass whooped by Crawford. And what did Spence tell everybody? I'm coming back. I come back when I'm ready. Look at his age. It's not like this dude is 20 years old. He's 35. So how much more time does he have? 34, 35, same shit. So how much longer is this dude going to sit on the shelf, right? It's best he get his physical right, his mind right, or whatever it is that he's dealing with before he gets in the ring with anybody. All right? That I agree with. So my point is, we can't sit here and make fights in our head like they're going to happen just because you want to see them happen. But he's been out this long. Do you think that the first fight back is going to be him versus Crawford? Come on, y'all. So I'm looking at this from the standpoint of, once again, we have a Canelo Alvarez taking the easier of opponents that those two names were called out. And there's nobody else in the sport that people want to see them fight more than either a Benavidez or a Crawford. And since the Crawford fight is already on, this is my point. What happens after this fight? Because as long as y'all keep sitting up there waving your little flag and jumping up in it, but if you complaining that this dude is not fighting the people you want to see him fight, well, he's not getting the message and he don't care, right? You heard what happened. I think, what was it, the Berlanga fight or the Munguia fight? One of those fights, I think after the fight, there was the Munguia fight, when they was asking him about fighting against, it was the Munguia fight, I think, when they asked him about fighting against Benavidez. What did he say? He quickly avoided that shit, and that's when he started talking all that other shit, and he started getting booed from the crowd because all they wanted to hear is, yeah, man, we're going to fight. I want to fight Benavidez. No, he make all these excuses. So even though Crawford accomplished what he has in the sport, always at the smaller weights, and he ain't beat no elite fighters. Name one elite champion he beat. Same shit he says about motherfucking Benavidez. Same thing he was saying about what's the dude's name? I just said his fucking Demetrius Andre. Everybody, nobody's done nothing except for him. But somehow, and the reason he didn't fight them is because they done nothing. But somehow he fights Berlanga. Somehow he fights Munguia. And you guys eat that shit up. Man, I'll tell you something. Canelo's one of these dudes, man. His fans, y'all got y'all fucking head so far up his ass, y'all can't even fucking see. You can't even see. You know how things look dark the closer you get? Yeah, you got your face so far up his ass, he probably look dark skinned to y'all. Y'all really don't understand shit about what's happening. When fighters get to this point in their career, just like how people getting sick of LeBron with all these excuses, and they talk about how big and strong he is, but yet here come a 175-pound point guard, run past it in his forearm, hit this motherfucker in his forearm, and he flops all over the floor, and y'all call that genius and smart. No, it's bullshit. And you look like a dumb fuck, especially when you 6'8", 250 pounds, and you don't get the call. And you jumping up looking like, what happened? What happened is they know that you're acting, you faking son of a bitch. And guess what now? People like, man, I'm getting sick of this motherfucker. God damn. Every time you see him, he's somewhere preaching about being the GOAT. He's somewhere talking about stats don't matter. He's somewhere talking about rings don't matter. Anything that's not in his favor, damn, I don't have better stats than him. I don't have more rings than him. Let's just keep moving the goalposts. And the same shit with these fighters, man. They get to a point, they keep making excuses. All of a sudden, they're rejuvenated. They're back, but they're fighting lesser opponents. They're this, they're that. You know, everything about these fucking people. When they get to that point, man, it's better to just stay silent and let people either forget about you for a little bit until they hear your name again, or just sit back and wait to see what you do next. Because when you keep running your mouth saying things, making claims, and trying to be better than everybody else, but you're not stepping in the ring with the people that we want to see you fight, then what's all this shit about? Come on, y'all. Just saying. Let men be men. We're in an age right now where, you know how you got a motherfucker 48 years old still living home with his parents and shit, ain't never been on his own, still sagging his fucking pants, rolling one pants leg up, standing on the corner. Yeah, like, seriously. At some point, you got to grow the fuck up, man. And this is all I'm saying. When it comes to this kind of shit here, man, stop this whole, oh, that's my countryman, or, oh, because I like this fight, I'm going to make excuses. I don't care who the fuck you are, man. I'm going to give it to you raw. You know, what I find funny, and this I'm going to close the video with this right here, to close out this last point. Yesterday, I was sitting home, and I'm sitting there looking at some boxing and shit. And I was about to look for some fights that I'm about to go to, get some tickets to go to some fights real soon. And I'm sitting here, right as I was about to click on this button, right? Video starts playing, Showbiz the Adult and Shakur Stevenson. Remember when I told you guys, like 2 years ago, these content creators say a lot of shit, but if it came to them getting an interview with these people that they talk about, they change their tune. And then you really see how big of a fraud they are. You see it. So let me explain what Showbiz said, if you guys didn't see it. And this is just a clip. I didn't see it all, and I just shook my head. I just laughed like, fuck. And I said, you know what? I spoke about that shit. So what Showbiz did, he was interviewing Shakur Stevenson. And he asks him, like, he's laughing. Yo, that stupid laugh he has. Yo, you blocked the hell out of me. Yo, he's like, the reason I blocked you is because the things you were saying, and you got a big platform and a big voice and people listening. Okay, we get it. It's just like I said 2 years ago, or 3, or however it was, but I basically told you guys, when you have a platform where you got a lot of followers, you can make your voice heard. People repeat what you say without even having proof, without having facts or understanding. Those who give you facts and proof are the ones that get questioned. The ones that give you bullshit, people just run with that. It's no different from being out in the street. Somebody can stand up here and tell you, you know, that they saw this person, or they saw this thing happen, and they'll run back, oh shit, they'll run back and tell a crowd of 30 people, yo, I just saw blah, blah, blah. They don't say, such and such just told me. They say it as if they saw it. That's what people do. So without proof of anything, they just repeat what they're told. So when he said that to Showbiz, like, you know, and then people listen, so I blocked you because, like, people be listening, man, and they start repeating stuff that you said. Yo, you know what? And this is what Showbiz said. Yo, you know what? I respect that too, because you're right. Because you know what? I realized that, like, I say stuff playing around. Oh, so now you're just playing around. All the shit you've ever said about Shakur Stevenson or any other fighter, you wasn't giving boxing news. You wasn't giving your opinion based on the news. You wasn't giving your opinions based on the facts. You were just playing around. You didn't mean nothing you said. You know, I say stuff like just playing around and stuff, and then, like, I realized, like, yo, people listen, and they'll repeat that. Yeah, you're right. You are right, though. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, now, I don't know this man's age, but I'm guaranteeing you Showbiz is considerably older than Shakur Stevenson. And here you are, a grown man, like your uncle, but your nephew is more intelligent than you are. See, no, you change your tune because now I'm getting interviews with these same people I was talking shit about. Nah. So, Aries, when you said that I was, you know, making excuses, like when you said that, what you mean, why did I say that? You said the savagery was back. You said you felt like a new man. You said that the reason you didn't knock out Joseph Parker was because the bullshit that we were saying, right? Everybody was giving you flack. So you held back on this man. That's what you said. Then you went in there and got knocked out by Zhang. After saying the savagery was back, your coach Malik Scott said this is the type of fights you need and the type of fights you love because Zhang is going to bring the best out of you. and you got knocked out in 4 rounds. I said when you step up and fight tougher competition, you're going to lose because of your lack of skill. And you out of your own mouth said, you have a blessing and a curse in the right hand. What applies to other fighters don't apply to you. You said that. Which means you don't take this shit as serious as you should. And your ego make you think you're better than you are. Now, it's just a coincidence that you lost when you lost. And when everybody starts saying you should retire, you talk about, nah, I'm coming back for all the straps. I feel rejuvenated. And you fight the man ranked 238. You said a man had unpadded gloves. You said a man had an egg weight in his gloves. You said your water was poisoned, but your urine came back clean. You said somebody put the heebie-jeebies on you. All these things that you said. You claim a doctor was supposed to come out and speak and come out with the truth and the facts of all this shit. You all said that. You had your people sit there on Counterpunch Boxing News and lie his ass off and tell everybody how you never said at one point in time your outfit was too heavy. That was misconstrued. Champ never said that. And not one time did you ever come out and say, no, I did say that. And you read comments, you hear the things people say, right? Because you said all the things people say, and I read the things people say. I hear the things people say, and they talking, and you know, they don't know, they just be talking. No, but not one time did you come out and say, no, I did say that. And when the video resurfaced, I reposted it. So, in other words, you just don't like the fact that the truth shows you're not who you say you are. So what to ask me why did I say what I said? I just summed everything up about you. I can go even deeper. That's why I said what I said, because I meant it, because that's what you said, and your actions show different. You said Anthony Joshua will take all the easy fights. Goddamn, his resume by far is better than yours. By far. See, AJ lost to Zhang. AJ beat Zhang in the amateurs. You lost to Zhang in the pros. AJ beat Joe Joyce. He beat Dillian White in the pros and the amateurs. You know, he beat Joseph Parker. You lost to. You know, so bottom line, he's at some point even shared the ring with these same guys. You went on a run of just knocking out guys ranked 500, 400, 300, right? You even when you was champion, you was fighting guys ranked like that. Everything I'm saying is facts, not fucking on my opinion. So why in the fuck would I have to sit here? Well, nah, you know what happened? No, it's obvious why I said it. So either if I was interviewing, I'm not gonna kiss nobody's ass, and I'm gonna ask you the tough questions. Them motherfuckers don't want to talk to me. They wouldn't want to talk to me. Trust me, they wouldn't. And then at the end of the day, why would you feel some type of way about somebody being honest about what came out of your mouth and somebody else's mouth? So, real simple. If I tell you Deontay Wilder said his costume was too heavy, he had no legs going to the ring, where do you think I got that from? I just made that shit up. So when you hear people on SportsCenter and every other fucking major networking channel talking about it, somehow we all just lying. He never said it. Now we all know what we heard. And his fans started, oh, y'all lying, y'all just hating, yo, you a black man making up shit about another black. Oh, so that's what we doing. We just, okay, cool. And when I fucking posted that shit, every one of them bitch made asshole sucking motherfuckers, they tucked their tails and fucking ran. And instead of being men saying, yo, salute Aries, you was right. I truthfully didn't know. I was wrong. Nah, I don't need you to say that shit. But it shows what type of pussies y'all are. What type of bitch-made motherfuckers you are. That's why y'all feel some type of way. But the fact is, the truth pisses you motherfuckers off. So when I say, never fall in line with lies, remember the truth brings hate out of people. I mean that shit. It's not some bullshit catchphrase or slogan. It's true. It's factual. That's why I say it. I didn't go, I have a boxing channel. I need a slogan. Nah. I'm here to put the truth in y'all fucking ears. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Showbiz sat there and ate crow and laughed it off and completely, when I'm just probably Oh, so everything come out your mouth is plain. See, this is what I'm telling you guys. If I was sitting here glazing fire, that shit is not even in me to do that shit. I don't do that shit to nobody. And I'm not one of the people, when I seen Michael Jordan, he had a glow. Yo, I feel like I saw God. It's like this guy's, nah, nobody. I don't feel like that when I look at nobody. Y'all tripping with that bullshit. I see Michael Jordan, I just see just a tall, dark-skinned, bald-headed motherfucking basketball player. That's about it. He has a glow, all this goofy shit y'all talk about. But, bottom line, when you sit here and now all of a sudden you're glazing these fighters, man. Shakur Stevenson or any other fighter should know. I can't speak for nobody else. I don't know what's personal with people and what's not. But they should understand, look, man, I get in front of cameras and I say a lot of shit. I can't expect everybody to sit here and agree with me when I'm talking dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, any of these fighters, like you say something about a person and then you turn around and say something different. I give you an example of some shit. And then I'm going to close this video. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, right? But, example, I saw a video with Robert Garcia. Robert Garcia in this video says that, from a reliable source, right, he got word that Jerome Boots Ennis wasn't ready to fight him. That he needed 2 tune-up fights before he fight Ortiz, because Ortiz is already adjusted to the weight, been at this weight class already. And so he needs 2 tune-up fights. He's not ready, and he said, that's not a lie. It's true. Okay. Now check this out. Virgil Ortiz sends a tweet out, right? Because Jerome Boots Ennis, basically, him and his dad, basically, or whoever, they stated, made it clear, yo, we offered them to fight. They declined to fucking fight. So we moving on. We're not sitting here waiting for people to play these games, right? And then basically Virgil Ortiz tweets, so apparently recovering from hand surgery is a duck. Now compare Robert Garcia saying Jerome Boots Ennis is talking about he needs 2 tune-up fights first. Where'd that come from? It's always a reliable source, a trusted source. But they can't come out. Nah. If you can't say who said what, man, let that shit go. Remember how Paulie Malignaggi, that's just enough. Come to find out, the Haney's, they re-signed with Top Rank. Remember all that goofy shit? And they ain't re-signed with shit. And what did he say? I heard from a trusted, reliable source, right? And y'all thought y'all heard a mouthful. Every fucking content creator jumped on there and started talking shit. And this and that. And the Haney's is plotting. And the oh shit. And this and that. And oh man, they had the judges in their back pockets. Oh shit. Top Rank. They was in on this because they did this in ESPN or whatever. All this bullshit. And I'm like, wow. And Bill said, we ain't signed shit with nobody. So I don't know what the fuck Paulie's talking about. But was he lying? Nah, because they sure as fuck didn't. So, same shit. Same shit. People tell y'all something, y'all hear it, y'all want to believe it, and y'all run with that bullshit. Hey, listen, man. Virgil Ortiz, his words is different from the shit his father said. His words is different from the shit Robert Garcia said. And I started to make a video about that shit, and I didn't. I was just like, here we go again. There's no fight here, just gossip. But that's exactly what was said. That's what was said. So for this man to sit here and say that the fight didn't happen because of Boots, it wasn't because of Virgil. He needed 2 tune-up fights. Well, where is this shit even coming from? And because Boots and Bazzi don't get involved in that shit and let's make videos and they'll only address some shit when somebody asks them. But we see the tweet live and clear from motherfucking Virgil Ortiz saying apparently recovering from hand surgery is a duck. So how in the fuck did they tell this man, I need 2 tune-up fights before I fight you? They're the ones who made the offer, not the other way around. And then 2, if you're recovering from hand surgery, that was your reason for not fighting. Right? Okay. So what the fuck is Robert Garcia and Virgil Ortiz Sr. talking about? Come on, y'all. Y'all got to stop with this fanboy shit. Tell the truth, man. Stand up like men and be real about what's happening. Plain and simple. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.